And hello, and welcome back to Vitamin for the Soul. I'm your host, Tony Reyna, your guide on this journey of transformation, growth, and resilience. If you've been following along, thank you so much for being part of this incredible community. And if you're new here, welcome. You're in the right place for some soul-nourishing inspiration, I hope. Today's episode is all about gratitude. Now, you probably heard about the benefits of gratitude before. Maybe someone told you to keep a gratitude journal. This is something I always ask of my clients. Always keep a gratitude journal. Or you've seen the phrase count your blessings on social media, but gratitude is so much more than a buzzword. It's a transformative practice that can literally rewire your brain for abundance, positivity, and success. We'll explore the science behind gratitude, practical ways to make it part of your daily life, and how it can shift your perspective in even the most challenging situations. I'll also share some stories and how gratitude has changed my life and how it can do the same for you. So grab your favorite drink, get some coffee, find a comfortable spot, and let's dive into the power of gratitude. So let's start with the foundation of today's topic, gratitude. What is it? What is it really? We often hear the word thrown around, be grateful, count your blessings. But gratitude really goes far beyond these cliches. It's a deep, intentional act of recognizing and appreciating, let me highlight that word, appreciating the good in your life, no matter how big or small. Gratitude is not about ignoring the hard stuff. It's not about sugarcoating struggles or pretending everything is fine. Instead, it's about choosing to focus on the things that bring value, joy, or meaning to your life, even when things feel challenging. Gratitude can show up in many forms. Sometimes it's a fleeting thought, wow, this meal is delicious. Other times it's deeper, more reflective moment. I'm so thankful for the support of my friends during this tough time. Gratitude can be as simple as noticing the beauty of a sunrise, or as profound as reflecting on how far you've come in life. The beauty of gratitude is that it meets you where you are, no matter your circumstances. Here's where it gets really exciting. Gratitude isn't just a feel-good idea. It's backed by science, actually. When you practice gratitude, your brain releases dopamine and serotonin, two of the feel-good chemicals. These help improve your mood, right? Reduces stress, and even enhances your overall mental health. Gratitude also activates the brain's reward system, making it easier for you to focus on the positive aspects of life. So over time, this rewiring of your brain strengthens your ability to see the good even in challenging situations. So let's break down some of the incredible benefits of practicing gratitude. We've already discussed it improves your mental health, right? Gratitude has been shown to reduce symptoms of anxiety and depression. When you focus on what's going right, it's harder to get stuck in negative thought patterns. And another benefit is stronger relationships. Expressing gratitude fosters empathy and connection, which can deepen your bonds with others. It also gives you better physical health. Studies have shown that people who practice gratitude sleep better, have lower blood pressure, and even experience fewer aches and pains, believe it or not. And it increases your resilience. Gratitude helps you bounce back from setbacks by shifting your focus from what's wrong or what's going wrong to what's still good and what's going good. I've seen this firsthand in my own life. There was a time when I was juggling so many responsibilities. I had work, school, personal commitments, and it felt like the weight of the world was on my shoulders. Horrible feeling. I started practicing gratitude by writing down 3 things I was thankful for every morning, which is something you find in my journals that I usually tell my clients to write in. Just three things. At first, it felt like just another task on my to-do list. I'm like, great, that's all I need is to start doing something else. But as the weeks went by, I noticed a shift. I started to feel lighter. Actually, I was more focused and more capable of handling challenges. Gratitude didn't take away the stress. Let me make that clear. But it gave me the strength to face it with a clear perspective. So Here's the thing about gratitude. It's not just about, or it's not just something you do. It's a way of seeing the world. When you cultivate gratitude, you're training your mind to focus on abundance instead of scarcity. Think about it. How often do we get caught up in what's missing from our lives? The promotion we didn't get, the vacation we couldn't afford, the things we wish were different. Gratitude flips the script. It says, hey, look at what you've done. Look what you have done. And look at the opportunities, the moments of joy, the progress that you've made. So take a moment right now to think about one thing, just one, that you're grateful for. Maybe it's as simple as the roof over your head or the support of a friend. Say it out loud or just hold it in your mind for just a moment. And then I want you to feel it. How does it feel? Gratitude has a way of grounding us in the present moment. I know what some of you are probably thinking. It's easy to be grateful when life's going so good, right? But what about when things are hard? Well, that's a valid question. Gratitude doesn't erase the difficulties in our lives, but gives us a way to navigate them with hope and perspective. Imagine you're going through a tough time at work, for example. Instead of focusing solely on the stress, gratitude invites you to kind of notice the small wins, like the colleague who supported you or the progress that you've made, even if it was just a small step. These moments of gratitude don't erase the challenge, but they remind you that there's still good to hold on to. Gratitude isn't about pretending everything is perfect. It's about finding the silver lining that keeps you going. It's a reminder that even in the darkest times, there's light to be found, no matter what. Now that we've explored what gratitude is and why it matters, let's move into the practical side. In the next segment, I'll share 3 simple gratitude practices that you can start doing today. These aren't just exercises. They're just habits that can transform the way you think, feel, and the way you show up in the world. Now that we've laid the foundation for understanding gratitude and why it's so powerful, let's get practical. How do you bring gratitude in your daily life? How do we do this, Tony? How do you make it more than just a passing thought or something you only focus on during the holidays? I've got 3 simple yet transformative gratitude practices that you can start right now. These aren't time-consuming, then they're not complicated at all. But their impact can be really life-changing if you commit to them. I live by this, and I truly wish that, I hope you, if anything, practice the first one, and that would be to keep a gratitude journal. Let's start with the gratitude journal. Probably one of the most popular and accessible ways to practice gratitude. The idea is just simple. At the end of the day, just write down 3 things that you're grateful for. Here's the key. Be very specific. Instead of writing something broad like, I'm grateful for my family, try something more detailed like, I'm grateful for the conversation I had with my brother today. It made me feel supported and loved. When you get specific, you relive the positive moment, which deepens the impact on your brain. Again, this is something we do in hypnotherapy. So the brain gets to relive that moment, and it solidifies the way you feel, the way you show up, and the way you even express gratitude. It's like re-experiencing a little burst of joy. I started keeping a gratitude journal during a practical, hectic time in my life a few years back. At first, it felt like just another thing on my to-do list, but I stuck with it, believe it or not. Over time, I noticed something incredible. I was going through my days looking for things to be grateful for because I knew I'd be writing them down later. So to make it easier for me, I'm like, I got to remember this. I'm grateful for that. That simple shift in focus transformed how I experienced my daily life. So let's try this right now. Think of 3 things that you're grateful for today. They don't have to be big. Maybe it's your morning coffee. Maybe it's a good song that you heard, or even the fact that you made it through a challenging meeting. If you can, write them down. If not, just hold them in your mind for a moment. The gratitude journal isn't just about what you write. It's about training your mind to look for the good every single day. Number 2, gratitude in action. So this next practice takes gratitude beyond your personal reflections and turns them into something active, expressing gratitude to others. This is where gratitude becomes a ripple effect. It doesn't just uplift you, but it strengthens your relationships and spreads positivity. Think of someone in your life who has made a difference, big or small. Maybe it's a mentor, a friend, a colleague, or even a barista who always remembers your coffee order. Those are nice. I love when they do that. Take a moment to let them know how much you appreciate them. Seriously. Just really feel it and acknowledge it and let them know that you appreciate them in your life. Here's how you can do it. Either you can write a thank you note or send a heartfelt text. That's my favorite. Everybody knows me, knows that I'm a texter. Call them and say, I just want to let you know how much I appreciate you. This one's a little bit harder for people, even for me. But, if you're a caller, definitely pick up the phone, call, and say, hey, I was thinking about you. Just wanted to know how much I appreciate you in my life, And if you're in person, look them in the eye and express your gratitude sincerely. I'll never forget the time I wrote a thank you letter to a mentor who had guided me during a challenging period in my life. I didn't expect much of a response, but they called me after reading it and said, you have no idea how much this means to me. That moment reminded me of how powerful it is to let people know that they're valued. So right now, think of one person you could reach out today. What would you say to them? How would it feel to let them know that they've made a difference in your life? If you can, make a plan to do it, right? Send that text. Gratitude in action is one of the most powerful ways to deepen your connections. All right, the next one is mindful gratitude. The third practice is about bringing gratitude into the present moment through mindfulness, which is something that, if you know me, I love to practice. Being mindful in every moment of your life is so important. Life moves really fast, right? And it's easy to overlook the beauty in the little things. Mindful gratitude is about slowing down and fully experiencing those moments. The next time you're doing something enjoyable, whether it's sipping on your coffee, taking a walk, or spending time with your loved ones, pause for a moment. Just pause. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, what am I grateful for in this moment? Notice all the details, the smell of your coffee, the way the sunlight feels on your skin, the sound of your friends' laughter. Let yourself fully experience that moment of gratitude. I always tell my clients, one thing that I started to do when I first started practicing mindfulness is I never noticed how the water feels on my skin. So when I would wash my hands, I never noticed, of course, I adjusted the temperature to make it warm, but that was it. That's all I did. But when I started practicing mindfulness, I remember washing my hands and feeling the water, truly feeling it, and then getting the soap, feel how it feels in my hands, the smell and the fragrance of the soap. And it was just the best feeling to just stop and pause. And I was even grateful for having soap in that moment, It's just the things that we take for granted and we just never really, truly be aware of it, right? It's simple things like that. I like to practice mindful gratitude during my morning walks also, or my evening walks with my dog. Instead of thinking about my to-do list, I focus on the sound of the birds, how crispy the air is, maybe if it's cold, and the way my body feels as I move. It's a simple practice, but it sets a positive tone for the whole day. So let's try this together. Wherever you are right now, take a deep breath. Look around. What's one thing you can appreciate in this moment? Maybe it's the comfort of your chair. The fact that you're taking time to listen to this podcast, or even just the fact that you've made it through another day. Mindful gratitude is being fully present and letting yourself feel the richness of the moment. It's a practice of slowing down, noticing, and appreciating. So these three simple practices, the gratitude journal, the gratitude in action, and mindful gratitude are simple, but their impact can be really profound. When you commit to practicing gratitude daily, you'll notice shifts in how you think and how you feel and how you interact with the world. So in the next segment, we'll talk about how gratitude can be a lifeline during challenging times. Because let's be honest, life isn't always easy, and that's when gratitude matters the most. Gratitude is really just a beautiful practice when life is going well. But what about when things are going horribly wrong or totally negative, right? When you're facing challenges, whether it's a loss, whether it's a setback, or just a tough day, gratitude can feel almost impossible. I, for one, know this. It's so hard to be in a grateful state of mind when you're having a horrible day. And yet, it's during these moments that gratitude becomes a lifeline. It really does. It doesn't erase the pain or the struggle, but it helps you find strength and resilience by shifting your focus to what's still good, what's still working, and what's still worth holding on to. So let's be honest, life's unpredictable. We all go through seasons of difficulty, and during those times, our minds naturally want to focus on what's wrong. It's a survival mechanism, but it can trap us in a cycle of negativity. Gratitude interrupts that cycle. It doesn't deny the reality of your pain, but it gives you a way to anchor yourself in moments of hope and positivity. Even when things feel overwhelmed or overwhelming, gratitude reminds you that there's still light, even if it's just a flicker. I want to share a personal story about a time when gratitude got me through one of the hardest periods of my life. There was a moment when I felt completely overwhelmed. I talked about this in my other podcast. I was juggling work. I'm a full-time student, trying to finish my PhD. There was personal challenges. It felt like nothing was going my way. And I started to spiral into this cycle of self-doubt and frustration. One day, I decided to try something different. Instead of focusing on everything that wasn't working, I forced myself to write down one thing I was grateful for each day. At first, it felt ridiculous, I'll admit. Some days, the only thing I could think of was I'm grateful for my morning coffee, or I'm grateful for my bed. But slowly, it started to shift my perspective. I began to notice little blessings I'd been overlooking. A kind word from a friend, a moment of laughter, or even the fact that I had the strength to keep going. Gratitude didn't solve all my problems, but it gave me the mindset I needed to face them with courage and hope. When life feels like it's falling apart, gratitude is the thread that holds you together. I read that somewhere. It reminds you that even in the darkest times, there's something worth holding on to. So, how do you practice gratitude when you're in the middle of a storm? Here are 3 strategies to help you anchor yourself in gratitude, even when it feels hard. Number 1, you want to focus on what you can control. Let's face it, we can't control much, right? When life feels overwhelming, it's easy to get caught up in everything that's outside of your control. Gratitude helps you shift your focus on what you can control. So ask yourself, what's one thing I can be grateful for today? What's one thing I can do today to bring a little bit of joy and peace into my life? Maybe you're going through a tough time at work, but you can be grateful for the coworkers who support you or the fact that you've made it through another day. By focusing on what you can control, you reclaim your sense of power and your sense of agency, really. Gratitude doesn't have to be grand. It just has to be intentional. Start with what's within your reach. Number 2, you want to look for small wins. During difficult times, it's easy to feel like progress is non-existent. But gratitude helps you notice the small wins, the tiny steps forward that might otherwise go unnoticed. At the end of each day, ask yourself, what's one thing I did today that I'm proud of? What's one thing that went right, even if it was something small? Maybe you took 5 minutes to meditate. Maybe you made it to work on time or had a meaningful conversation with a loved one. These are small wins, and these small wins matter, and they deserve to be celebrated. When I was finishing my book, Becoming, there were days when progress felt slow, I made it a point to celebrate every paragraph, every edit, every moment I spent writing. Those small wins kept me motivated and reminded me that I was moving forward, even if it didn't feel like it. In the midst of struggle, small wins are your stepping stones. Gratitude helps you see them for what they are, proof that you're still moving forward. Number 3, you want to reframe that challenge. In the last episode, we talked about reframing perspectives. One of the most powerful ways to practice gratitude during challenging times is to reframe the challenge itself. This doesn't mean denying the difficulty. It means looking for the lesson or growth opportunities within it. Ask yourself, what is this experience teaching me? How is this challenge helping me grow stronger or more resilient? If you faced rejection, maybe it's teaching you to be persistent. If you're navigating a health challenge, maybe it's reminding you to appreciate your body and prioritize self-care. So looking back on some of the hardest times in my life, I realized there were also times when I grew the most, really. The challenges forced me to dig deep, find new strengths, and appreciate the support of the people around me. Gratitude helped me see the value in those experiences, even when they were painful. Here's another motivational takeaway I read. Gratitude doesn't erase the challenge, but gives you the strength to find meaning in it. It helps you see that even in struggle, there's room for growth and transformation. I love that. Gratitude during difficult times isn't about pretending everything's fine. It's about finding the light even when it feels dim. By focusing on what you can control, celebrating small wins, and reframing those challenges as opportunities for growth, you can use gratitude as a tool to navigate life's toughest moments. So in the next segment, we'll bring it all together, and then we'll talk about the sneak peek for next week's episode. So stick around. There's more to come. As we wrap up today's episode, I want to take a moment to reflect on the incredible power of gratitude. It's just not a feel-good practice. It's a mindset. Way of seeing the world differently, and a tool for transformation. Gratitude can lift you up when times are tough. They help you to appreciate the present moment and open your heart to abundance and joy. Let's take a moment to recap what we talked about today and what we explored. We started by defining what gratitude really is. It's the intentional act of recognizing and appreciating the good in your life. From there, we talked about the science of gratitude, how practicing gratitude can literally rewire your brain, seriously, for positivity, improving your mental health, relationships, even your physical well-being, even your body. We talked about practical gratitude practices, the gratitude journal. If anything, please remember that. It helps tremendously. Expressing gratitude to others and having a mindful gratitude. These are all simple but powerful ways to make gratitude a daily habit. Gratitude in challenging times. How to use gratitude as a lifeline when life feels overwhelming by focusing on what you can control, celebrating small wins, and reframing those challenges as opportunities for growth. Each of these steps is a piece to a puzzle, and together they create powerful practices that can truly, seriously transform your life. I want to invite you to take a moment right now to reflect. What's one thing you've learned today that resonated with you? Maybe it's a new way of practicing gratitude or a reminder of something you already knew but needed to hear again. Think about how you can apply that insight to your life starting today. Gratitude is a practice, and the more you commit to it, the more it will show up in your life in meaningful ways. If you feel comfortable, share your reflections in the comments or write them in your journal. There's power in putting your thoughts into words. And who knows, your reflection might inspire someone else. Gratitude is a journey. Unlike any other journey, it starts with a single step. Here's how you can take what you've learned today and put it into action. Start that gratitude journal tonight. Reach out to someone you appreciate. Send a thank you text. Write a note. Tell them in person. And then practice mindful gratitude, right? Remember, gratitude doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be intentional. One small step can lead to profound changes over time. If you enjoyed today's episode, there are 3 ways you can keep the momentum going and stay connected. Of course, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already done so. head on over to youtube.com at TonyReynaCoaching.com and hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. New episodes drop every Friday morning, packed with insights and tools for growth. You can book a one-on-one coaching session with me if you're ready to dive deeper into your personal growth journey. I'd love to work with you. Just go to my website, TonyReynaCoaching.com, to schedule your session, and let's make this transformation for you happen. Share this episode. If you know someone who could use a little gratitude in their life, send them this episode. Transformation is even more powerful when we do it together. Before we say goodbye, I want to give you a sneak peek on next week's episode. It's called The Art of Letting Go, Releasing What No Longer Serves Us. We'll explore the power of letting go, whether it's letting go of old habits, toxic relationships, or self-limiting beliefs. You'll learn practical strategies for releasing the past and creating space for new possibilities if you've ever felt weighed down by things you know you need to release. This episode will give you the tools and inspiration to finally let go. So make sure you're subscribed so you won't miss it. Thank you for spending this time with me on Vitamin for the Soul. Gratitude is one of the simplest yet more powerful practices that we can adopt. And I'm so excited to see how it transforms your life. Remember, you have the power to choose gratitude every day, no matter your circumstances. Take one step or one small step today and watch how it shifts your perspective, how it opens your heart, and how it fills your life with abundance. Until next time, keep moving forward, stay present, and remember, you've got this.